It is 1 minute gone past 9 a.m. Good morning and thank you for joining us on today's edition of the News Sponge on Diamond 88.7 FM, where we'll bring you the trending stories across the globe. I am TOBI ADEBISI, and here are the stories making waves across the world this morning. Reacting to the conduct of the 2023 general elections in Nigeria, the British High Commission has said the UK Minister for State for Development and Africa, Andrew Michel MP, is prepared to take action against those who engaged in or incited electoral violence during the just concluded general elections. The Commission said the UK was already collating names of perpetrators and would impose sanctions. The statement added that the sanction would prevent the listed individuals from obtaining UK visas, among other rulings. In Ogun State, a lawmaker-elect for the Ogun State House of Assembly, Damilare Bello, has been arrested by operatives of the Department of State Services. Bello, a People's Democratic Party, was alleged to have masterminded the Shagamu mayhem that left several banks vandalized during the Naira scarcity protest. Bello, popularly known as Dre, was said to have been on the run since the incident happened but surfaced for Saturday's election. On the foreign scene, the International Criminal Court, ICC, has expressed concern over threats from Russia following its issuing of a war crimes arrest warrant for President Vladimir Putin. The ICC statement of concern on Wednesday came after former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev threatened to hit the war crimes court in The Hague with hypersonic missiles. The presidency of the ICC's Assembly of States Parties said it regrets these attempts to hinder international efforts to ensure accountability for acts that are prohibited under general international law. The president of the court added that the Assembly also reaffirms its unwavering support for the International Criminal Court. In sport, former Netherlands manager Dick Advocaat has defended Calvin Bassey after ex-Dutch international Andy van der Meijden criticized the Nigerian defender for a poor display in Ajax's 3-2 loss to Feyenoord in their Eredivisie fixture on Sunday. The Nigerian has struggled since making a €90 million switch from Glasgow Rangers to Amsterdam, with his performance in their recent derby defeat by Feyenoord has come in for serious criticisms. The defender has faced several backlashes from former Dutch internationals since making a move to the Netherlands last summer. Ex-Dutch international Andy van der demanded they release him on a free transfer, while Marco van Basten accused him of doing everything in his power not to have the ball. That's all we have for you on this edition of the News Punch. Up next is the Diamond Breakfast Show, where we'll bring you the analysis of the stories. Do stay with us.
The major talking point in Nigeria are always on the lips of the citizens.
What's going on in this country? Look at smaller countries taking lead, and you call yourself giant of Africa. Yeah.
Nigeria don't spoil my business too much. Nigeria is too hard for us. I mean, I want to kill us. Father, not kill us for Nigeria. Oh, please, help us beg them.
They should reduce their expenditure so that they can free enough money for social development.
I wish for a Nigeria where we elect a leader based on competency and not popularity.
On the Diamond Breakfast Show, we place the spotlight on the critical issues in the country.
Government that says they are broke can prioritize construction of an additional runway over education of the people.
How can a government, how can you hold Indomine? This is intolerable. It's provocative.
Now, you see, when you look at our democratic journey, we are yet to practice genuine democratic system in Nigeria.
Join us on Mondays to Friday on the DBS from 9 to 10 a.m. The Diamond Breakfast Show, amplifying the voice of the people.
From the studios of Diamond 88.7 FM in Lorry, this is the Diamond Breakfast Show.
You're welcome back to the Diamond Breakfast Show, and my name is TOBI ADEBISI. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the program. We have a lot of conversations to have, and without further ado, we're going to get into the analysis. And to do this with me this morning is Mr. Olasukomi Toby John. I happen to have my namesake on the show today, a public affairs analyst and social commentator. Good morning, Mr. Olasukomi.
Good morning. It's my pleasure.
I want to call you Toby John, but then let's not. All right.
I think I'll prefer
It's
that.
nice. All right. So news flew around yesterday's evening that the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) is set to commence a nationwide strike next week, Wednesday. And the Labour group announced one a fortnight ago before the CBN made an official statement to the Supreme Court that the old note should continue to be used seamlessly with the new one. When we saw that, a lot of reactions greeted that why are they always giving 7 days ultimatum? People feel like it's too long. If you want to do something, just do it. I mean, but then the reason for the proposed strike is not far-fetched. Once again, the union, like every other Nigerian union, is still worried about the Naira scarcity. The Naira redesign policy came with lots of criticisms right from the start. However, it became a widespread conversation when its undesigned plan and implementation continued to have tolling effects on the average Nigerian. In fact, until now, it's still a task, a Herculean task at that, getting the currencies. Now, the Supreme Court first suspended the deadline, even though the CBN still maintained its stance on the deadline, with the president as well only declaring the old 200 Naira notes as the only one among the top 3 highest denominations to be used for transactions. We're just trying to lay a background. Let's remember the things that have happened so that we know where we're headed. Now, after several back and forth court conversations, the Apex Court ruled that the old notes continued to be used till December 31st this year. This was supposed to ease the stress and queues at the banks and ATM booths, but the conversation is different. That almost 2 weeks or 3 weeks after that declaration was made. This is our first discussion on the Diamond Breakfast Show this morning, and this is what we're going to be looking at first. Now, we have just concluded the second part of the much talked about election. The NLC proposed strike looks like an immediate present. Or what do you think? Do you think it's something that we get to come back to after all that election? Do you think it's a standing reality that we left and now we're coming back to it?
Well, let's say the NSC, the proposed strike by the NSC, it's a way of getting the government to do the needful. You get me? So the fact that the NLC has come out to issue, I won't call it a threat per se, but I'll call it an influencing message to the government, so that they will understand that they will know how to get get a grip on the situation on time. You get me? So it's quite commendable that it's coming at this time, and I believe the government should respond appropriately to it. Because as a matter of urgency, if they don't and they allow the NLC to embark on a nationwide strike, it might be difficult for the government to be able to control that thereafter.
All right, thank you. Now, after the court, we expected to see things ease up, but the CBN had their way of just making things the way it is by not speaking up on time. And then the CBN, there were rumors that the CBN said, okay, you can go on, and then there were retracting of statements before the CBN now finally came out to say all of that, while Nigerians still continued going through all the stress. Now, what are the likely causes of the Naira scarcity despite having both old notes and new notes in the CBN votes, and despite having some of it, all of this, we believe we still have the old notes and we have the new notes. But what are the likely factors?
Well, there are so many factors that could be alluded to, the anomalies. First, let's look at how long it took the president, you get me? Or let's say, okay, it took the CBN, to intervene after, I think it took about 10 days after the ruling, after the court ruling, the Supreme Court ruling, before the CBN issued an official statement, you understand, necessitating the recirculation of the old currency into the financial system. You understand? So I think that all in itself alone actually give a tepid, created a tepid atmosphere towards going back to the old currency. So another factor that possibly might also be hindering this recirculation of the old note might be that maybe which I really don't have the fact with me, might be as a result of briquetting. Well, who knows? Possibly, maybe the CBN, had actually briquetted the old note. You understand? Because as it stands right now, with the current reality, what we're seeing on our streets, we realize that the scarcity hasn't simmered at all. It's even as hard as anything right now to get both the old notes and the new notes. You understand what I'm saying? So there are so many factors. It's except the government, or let's say except CBN itself, comes out to tell us what exactly is going on. I don't think there's an end in sight yet.
I was having a discussion with one of my friends, and I remember telling him that the ruling the court made was that the CBN should allow the old and new notes to circulate. It wasn't that they should increase the new limits set for how much a person can withdraw. So I also think that could be a factor, thinking or looking at the fact that the Supreme Court didn't necessarily say that, okay, increase the daily limits, increase how much people can have. They only said that, okay, allow the old and new notes to go out hand in hand. So what do you think about that?
I think I differ. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're telling me it's as a result, the scarcity we're experiencing is as a result of the limitation placed on the certain amount of money an individual is entitled to. You get me? I think that's a little bit naughty. I doubt if that is actually the major issue. Well, because if you're talking about the daily limit, you understand what I'm saying, which is I think about 20,000, and I think 500,000 for what's it called, for commercial purposes. It's the money in itself is not actually you can't even get that 20,000. You can't even access it. Go to all of our banks, you'll see crowded to the brim, and that tells you that these people don't actually have this money within their grasp. So I don't think that is actually the major issue. I feel I wouldn't want to sound sinister here, but I'm reading a certain feeling, you understand what I'm saying, interpretation to the body language of the CBN, because if you're talking about mopping up the currency so that we can migrate to what's it called to
the new one.
Yeah, that's mopping up the currency in order to migrate to a cashless
a cashless policy.
Society. You get me? When you do that, you would first of all allow the commercial banks to evolve capacity to be able to contain most of this transaction. But what we have right now, even commercial banks are struggling in terms of the online demand for their services. You get me? So most people do, transfer money, and it takes days before they get it. Even some monies were, removed from some people's account, and it was never remitted on both sides. So I think the CBN has to come out plain and let us know what the real situation is.
Exactly.
For us to be able to assess things the way it is, not the way we want it or the way we suppose it is.
All right, thank you so much. Do not forget to get to be a part of the conversation. Join us on WhatsApp 091 3655 6864. And moving on, the CBN has not come out to state any reason for the scarcity ever since its last official statement. And like you said, I like that you ended on that note, that the CBN should come out and tell us something. Let us know the reason. Why are the notes scarce? Why are we not getting? In fact, I was still having this discussion with one of our colleagues when you came in. He was saying he expected that after the elections we would have an ease up of all the things, but then we're seeing something contrary to that. Yet the CBN has not given a reason for why the notes are still scarce. What does this silence further say about the personality of the monetary authority? What does this say about the CBN?
Well, it says a lot, and as a matter of fact, we have to sympathize with the commercial banks because they are the one bearing the brunt as it stands. By the time we are out of the wood, I doubt if people would actually, have that, entrust their money with these commercial banks any longer. I tell you, because a lot of them have been, targeted, and for People assume they are holding the money, but what the information out there speaks to the fact that most of these banks don't even have this money within their grasp. So the CBN, I think they have to do a lot. You understand what I'm saying? They have to do a lot to stem the tide. Aside that, the commercial banks also will take a very deep hit as a result of this policy.
All right, thank you so much. The NLC seems ready for a busy week and for the whole thing. Should the proposed dates be seen as an opportunity to address the issue itself at all? Because the CBN looks ready. Does the proposed date, does it look like a window for the CBN to act and step in?
Obviously, it is a window given to the to the CBN to do the right thing.
And do you see the CBN actually coming up to do something?
Well, if I'm to judge by the trend of, let me see, the behavior of CBN and let me say the monetary authority, I wouldn't want to call any name here. You get me? I doubt if they are actually willing to, they have this under their belt. I doubt it. To me, I feel they are a little bit detached from the reality on the streets. Aside that, I don't think they need anybody to issue a threat before they would have to do the needful. Because this policy, which they want the people to believe is, a way of migrating from one system to another, is actually, sending the wrong signal. A lot of people believe it's a cash stripping policy, which amounts to you robbing the people. Because why would people have money in their account and you deny them access to it? You understand me? So the CBN hasn't really, done anything, done that much. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To ameliorate, the hard feeling on the people. And I don't doubt, or should I say, and I doubt based on their attitude and their antecedent, I doubt if they would be able to do anything, really tangible within the stipulated period, within the given window.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to be taking some reactions from Twitter because they are very, very important and they create a wider window for what we're talking about. Let's not forget that the NLC is a body that comprises of a lot of other important bodies. So when we're not talking about, when we talk about NLC, we're not just talking about somebody that works in your area. We're also talking about someone. Let's look at the ASU for example. ASU just came back from a very, very long strike, and ASU is still under NLC, and ASU is meant to comply. So when we talk about the NLC, there's a lot of reality stuck in this strike thing that we are talking about. So this reaction says by Deborah Tolukolawole Gen Z on Twitter. It says, why NLC and affiliates are embarking on a strike? One, poor implementation of Naira policy, fuel scarcity, hike in electricity tariff, non-payment of salaries and pension in Abia State, non-remittance of check-off dues, ASU, failure of states to implement minimum wage, and over 40 unions, this is where I'm going, over 40 unions, NLC affiliates, including ASU, NUPENG, those are, sensitive, very, very sensitive groups, NASU, NUT, Union of Teachers, will commence a nationwide strike next week, Wednesday, barring last-minute intervention by the federal government. An ultimatum was given days ago, but the FG ignored. Looking at all these associations affiliated to the NLC, because we're not, like I said, we're not just talking about some random people. We're not just talking about a body. NLC houses over 40 important. We're talking about the NMA, we're talking about the NUT, we're talking about everybody here. What is the reality before us?
The reality is that our economy is about to be grounded. Because when you have what do they call them? I'm talking about the affiliate body to the Nigerian Labour Congress. You understand what I'm saying? Where you have them go on strike, the schools will be locked. You understand what I'm saying? And even it would also affect the fuel distribution and the likes. You get me? So we encourage the CBN and other. And I think. The tweets, the lady mentioned something about the failure of the government, of state governments to implement the
minimum wage.
Minimum wage also, you get me right. So if these people, take their threats, if this body take its threat to a logical conclusion, I tell you, the economy will be grounded, and the impact. And mind you, we are still yet to actually get out of the economic wood. You understand what I'm saying? Created by the effect of COVID-19. So imagine grounding the entire sector. So it will have a dastardly effect on our economy going forward. So we have to encourage the government to actually do something about this to avert such catastrophe, I would say.
All right, thank you so much. You can let us know. Have you been getting the old and new naira notes? Has it improved wherever you are? Because I'm reading a reaction here, and it says that all of a sudden commercial banks have cash in their to dispense, and I don't know how true that is. So you can let us know if you're listening to this. Let us know on 09136556864 for your WhatsApp messages and for your text messages. How are you finding it? Let us know. I have this reaction as a text message here. It says cash flow hindrance is killing people and the economy. Self-banking by retailers and fuel station operators complicates the cash flow. CBN push cash out to calm frail nerves. As blood to the human body, so also cash to the economy. One of the functions of government is to ensure smooth cash flow. Humans are more valuable than statistics. The welfare of the people should be the top priority of government. It is not going to be surprising if stress-induced illnesses hinders economic growth soon. That is Kolade coming from Asadam. We were still talking about a lot of things. The cash crunch. We're still talking about the NLC strike coming up next week. And we want to get your reactions concerning that. What do you think? Especially considering the fact that many associations, many bodies are tied to the NLC. Like, it comprises of everybody. Everybody. So what do you have to say about this? 09136556952. That is the number you get to call to be a part of the show. 09136556952. Also, okay, let's check this last question. It says strikes would not do well for both the government and the workers, like we have said, but the government suffers more. Do you think that the government suffers more in this?
I think it's both ways. The government will suffer and the people also will suffer. And let's not forget the fact that if we embark on a strike right now, you understand what I'm saying? It will further reduce the performance of our economy. So it will affect both, the average man on the streets and the government. So we can't actually say, the impact, nobody can tell.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Nobody can be specific about the impact.
And let's be, another thing is, let's be very conscious of what we have. Like you said, the impact cannot be predicted. You don't know what would come in and complicate things and make things bigger than they ought to be. Okay, this reaction is on WhatsApp, and it says the CBN governor has destroyed Nigeria's frail economy. It's very unfortunate. CBN confiscated our money. I just hope Emefiele is not covering up something because he is setting Nigeria's financial sector on autopilot. The NLC needs to go on strike because this government has closed its ears to people's pains and agony. That's from Ola from Airport. Before the deadline for the proposed strike, what do you expect from the government and the CBN in the next 24 hours in reaction to the NLC statement? Because we're expecting something, but what do you expect?
Well, like I said earlier, if you are to judge the CBN based on its antecedents, I won't be expecting anything. They actually, it took how long? 10 days after, the Supreme Court pronouncement before they actually issued an official statement, telling the commercial banks, to recirculate the same currency. And at the time, I could remember that skeptics said something, were a little bit iffy about the fact that these people only issued this statement. We are not even sure if the money is still with the commercial banks, because they were asked to return this chunk of, a large, of this money back to the CBN. So we are not even sure of the amount that has been given to this, to the commercial banks for redistribution rather. So we need the CBN to come out and be, specific. Tell us how much are you giving to each banks, and and the designated period also. So until this is done, I don't expect, anything much from the CBN. And going forward, let's say between now and then, don't let me be optimistic. I'll still remain pessimistic about the government and its response, because it has actually actually shown, to be very, very irresponsible to the plight of Nigeria.
Well, because of the last thing that happened, the NLC say, "Oh, we give you 7 days," and then something was actually done. So people are optimistic that this time around the CBN may come up and actually give us a solution.
Well, I wouldn't want to burst their bubble, but I think we should keep our optimism measured. You understand what I'm saying? If before you actually judge a man, you would have to look at what he has done in the past. You understand what I'm saying? In order to be able to predict what is the man is doing currently, and what is but what might possibly be let's say more like a fuse forward from the person going forward. So, but if you are to assess the CBN based on all of this criteria, you realize that going forward we should actually approach the the activities with measured optimism. So I wouldn't want to throw a wheel into their jigsaw, but let's maintain a measured optimism about the response we're expecting from the CBN.
All right, thank you so much. Do not forget that the number to call is 091 3655 6952. Once again, 091 3655 6952. And for your text messages and for your WhatsApp messages, you use the number 091 3655 6864. 091 3655 6864. I have this reaction on WhatsApp, and it says, my contribution to the less cash flow is mainly from the so-called CBN governor. Due to his selfish interest, it damaged the economy of Nigeria. Another thing is most commercial banks that even have the little cash also decided to sell them out to POS users. NLC strike will be a good movement if it will have a good and positive reaction. Also, I think the CBN governor needs to pay for this damage he has caused to the nation. Thanks. This is Ademola. All right, thank you so much, Ademola. We'll go on a short break now, but before we go, our second topic, we'll be talking about the last election and the occurrences that we saw. The election is gone, but some talking points are making waves right now. It was topped by many as the best election in the history of the country, owing to the introduction of impressive devices to make it more transparent and more credible. But we have a lot more sides. We have a lot more conversations coming up, court cases coming up. We just have a lot of them, and we want to explore. We want to look at this very briefly when we come back from the commercial break. So don't go away. Stay tuned to Diamond 88.7 FM. It is still the Diamond Breakfast Show. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to Diamond 88.7 FM, shining supreme. Shine bright as diamond.
Kára ó lè pé mà, ara ríro kò sí mọ́, àwọn ká ti sá lọ, àrùnmọ́lẹ́gùn ẹ̀yìn dídùn làkúrẹ́ ìgbé, wọ́n ti lọ wá bí wọ́n sí. Kára ó lè pé mà, múre àtúrà dáadáa.
Kókó lára ọ̀tá le. Gbéra ńlẹ̀ kó dìde. Kára ó lè pè ń bà. Àtúrà wọ̀, àtúrà pẹ̀sẹ̀, àtúrà dáadáa. Kegun tó kegun náà. Kára ó yá gágá. Ara ń ronú tẹ́lẹ̀ kò ronú mọ́. Tẹ̀bá ti fi kára ó lè pè ń bà rà. Lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ wọnú igun. Tó sì ń ṣe àtúntò rẹ̀. Òṣùbù yẹ̀kẹ́ fa párọ̀ tàbí fi ẹsẹ̀ dá. Fi kára ó lè pè ń bà wọ̀. Káì! Ara rẹ̀ ó lè padà yakinlala. Action! Action! Ó jẹ́ àwọ̀ká àròmọ̀lẹ́gun. Làkúègbé ara ríro tàbí ẹ̀yìn dídùn. Kára ó lè pè ń bà lọ́kọ̀ gbogbo wọn. Agbára pọ̀. Kára ó lè pè ń bà. Tuyi Pharmaceutical Industries Limited. Àwọn tó lórúkọ tó ṣe é gbẹ́kẹ̀lé níbi ká po oògùn òyìnbó ló ṣe é. Kára ó lè pè ń bà. Ẹ̀rọ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ pín ìrèpàtú òpèrè ta pàtà pọ́npọ́n. Kára ó lè pè ń bà. Ó kì í síbẹ̀.
Kára ó lè pè ń bà, múre àtúrà dáadáa.
Peace,
Joy, blessings, multiple rewards are good things that comes with the month of Ramadan. Muslims are therefore enjoined to increase their good deeds in this holy month. This is why Diamond 88.7 FM is calling on all our Muslim brothers and sisters to make use of our platform to garner all the blessings of Ramadan. You can do that by sponsoring our Ramadan tafsir, Quran recitation, or giving out gifts to people on our programs in this holy month. To book a spot or for further inquiries, you can call 09129294332 or 08128286078 or visit us at our premises, Plot 2, New Yidi Road, Irewolede, Ilori. Marhaban Bika Ya Ramadan.
The federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, announces the availability of COVID-19 and childhood vaccines nationwide. With the disturbing increase in reported cases of COVID-19 infections across Nigeria, protect yourself and loved ones from the harmful virus by getting vaccinated. Visit the nearest public or private health facility and mass vaccination sites today to receive the first, second, or booster doses of COVID-19 vaccines. COVID-19 vaccines are given to persons 18 years and above, including pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers, while childhood vaccines are given to children from birth to 5 years for protection against polio, hepatitis, yellow fever, measles, meningitis, and other vaccine-preventable diseases. All vaccines are free, safe, and effective. For inquiries, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700 220 1122.
This message is brought to you by the National Primary Health Development Agency in collaboration with the Nigeria Red Cross Society with support from the Africa CDC SLL program.
bí Ramadan bá wọlé dé wẹ́rẹ́ ká gbìyànjú mú sí olóore sẹ́ni àsàmọ́dún òjìnà rájàbù kọjá sàbá ń tẹ̀lé Ramadan wọlé dé alan wa salam wa mariaba bíkun sáwọn Ramadan akí gbogbo múmìnì àti múmìnà kó àmójúbà ìkànnì Diamond 88.7 FM wọ́n ń pè wá láti wá aṣọ onígbọ̀wọ́ àwọn ètò ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan tá a ti là kalẹ̀ fún tóṣù àánú oṣù ìkẹ́ oṣù ìgẹ̀ oṣù yóẹ̀sẹ̀ tó dé bá wa láyé ẹ̀ná kínkínní sójú ọ̀nà àlá àkọ́fọ́ kọ̀rọ́gbọ̀ fún yín o ẹ máa bọ̀ lójúlé kejì òpópónà yídì tuntun eré wọlé dé Ìlọrin ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ẹ sì lè pè sórí àwọn ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọ̀nyí 09129294332 tàbí 08128286078. àlà ò ní dùn wá ládàá rẹ̀ a ó rí dé bá ní àìrà sí rédíò rẹ̀ lẹ̀ o sí rédíò rẹ̀ lẹ̀ o sí Diamond FM sí rédíò rẹ̀ lẹ̀ o.
You're listening to Diamond 88.7 FM, shining supreme.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Alright, you're welcome back, and it's still the Diamond Breakfast Show on Diamond 88.7 FM. I am TOBI ADEBISI, and I still have Mr. TOBI John Olasunkomi in the house doing justice to the topics for us this morning. The election is gone, like we said, but there are many talking points still trailing the elections. It was dubbed by many as the best election in the history of the country, owing to the introduction of impressive devices to make it more transparent and more credible. Some as well dubbed it as a sham, owing to several reports of voter suppression and other acts that promoted disenfranchisement. The international communities raised their points on the conduct of the election. The European Union gave a scathing assessment of the whole process, and it noted that the conduct was full of violent acts that reduced the scorecards. The United States of America also released a statement 2 days ago talking about the same points raised by the EU. The powerful countries of the world have vowed to deny some Nigerians visa for promoting violence during the election, especially the UK. The Nigerian police in different states as well debunked reports of violent attacks, saying the videos being circulated online were old. Before the election, a video circulated online showing popular leader of a transport group, MC Oluomo, warning certain groups not to come out to vote if they are supporting a different group. And we saw a follow-up video by him saying that, oh, he called someone's name, but he was referring to his sister, and he brought the supposed sister into that video. But the several political parties have taken the electoral body and those elected in some areas to court. We all know that the season is more of that of legal battles. Let me get your reaction on that. I hear you sighing. What do you have to say? What's your impression?
First of all, let me quickly try to address what has come to be known as a threat by MC Oluomo. I listened to the video, or should I say, I saw the video severally in order to make of it what people are actually saying. You understand what I'm saying? But I think, what he implied in the video wasn't an attack on, on anyone. You understand what I'm saying? He said, he made reference to his, a certain Iyachini, do not to come out and vote if you know you are not voting for us. You understand what I'm saying? When you're talking about a threat, you understand, then you're expressly stating that you would physically, you understand what I'm saying, harm someone. He never said that. We're in a season where, people, deliberately misconstrued even a well-intended message. You understand what I'm talking about? So, and thankfully, he has come out to debunk it. You understand what I'm saying? With we saw they named them I heard they said Yashuku December, not Iwuchukwu. You get me right? So I think we should look at what people are saying for what they are saying, right. Not misconstruing or misconstructing what they said.
But some people are also arguing that no person has the right to come out to say, do not come out to vote if you're not voting for us. Why would you say someone should not come out to vote if they're not voting for you? They're not coming out to vote because it is you. They're coming out to vote because it is their right politically.
Yes, I think on that part, that is why I'm actually in support of him being invited to come clarify himself and pay for what he said. You understand what I'm saying? So it's actually a form of voter suppression. You understand? And a subtle threat. You understand?
Thank you.
You understand what I'm saying? A subtle threat. You get me right? So, which would dissuade some people from actually coming out. Except if we want to magnify the contextual Iyachinidu to mean a certain group of people. There will be no way one will arrive at the fact that yes, this is what he has done, or he's planning to attack people or do a certain thing. But even at that, we need a lot of clarification from him. I'm talking about by way of him being invited by the DSS, you get me right, to come account for his own statement. You understand what I'm saying? So the video he made is not enough to ameliorate the surge against him right now. We need him to be held accountable so that to dissuade. He's not the only one. He is not the only one. We've had instances from all of, not just only in Lagos State alone, it's everywhere, all across board, where people issue subtle threats. Even in some cases, people were captured on video issuing, not subtle, a well-worded, a blatant threat. You understand? To cause a physical violence or physical harm on people if they don't do it in a certain way. There was also a video, that was circulated not quite long ago. I think it took place somewhere in the East, where a man, because he voted for another party. You understand what I'm saying?
He was chased out of the
compound, out of the polling unit. And even we've had instances of party agents in some certain areas of this country where they were told, you must not vote for your party. You have to vote for so party. You get me? So in all of this, both what MC Oluomo is subtle, his statement, all of those put together, deserves to be treated and accordingly.
All right.
By the state.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toby John. You can join in the conversation, but please, we're using WhatsApp and text messages because we have to really run on the show this morning. Our time is almost up because there's a special program coming up by 9:45. Still here, so don't go anywhere. Good morning, Toby and the analysts in the studio. This is Isaac from Ilori. The issue of Naira scarcity is a conversation that has no end. For the past 3 weeks, I have not seen cash with my naked eyes. I always do transfers to people I want to buy from anywhere I go. The governor of Central Bank has an ulterior motive, but I believe in no distant time everything will be made open. Nigeria is tiring for real. God bless Diamond FM. God bless you too. Also on WhatsApp, this says, "Good morning, sir and ma. The truth is the CBN is playing politics with Nigerians. Mr. Godwin Emefiele is hiding something from us." This is Paul from Kwara. All right, thank you. Nigeria as a country is in autopilot from every angle already. Tony from Asadam, he continues, he says, Emefiele is really angry because all this blue started after he failed to secure the presidential ticket. Then he decided to set Nigerians against each other economically. Still coming from Tony from Asadam. Should we include Bala Blue in our dictionary already in Nigeria? Because it looks like we're not using it regularly, as you know. Who elects an insensitive government that pauperizes or kills majority of its citizens due to CBN's led demonic cash policies? Bala Danzaria. Okay. This one says, I think MC Oluomo was just expressing his love for the presidential candidate of his party. This one is Shemilolo from Pipeline. God bless Diamond FM. Very quickly, many the international community actually has come out to say a lot of things about the just concluded elections, and the UK has come out to say something. The EU said something. The United States of America also. If I may ask you, let's use that one to round up on the show this morning. What is your impression about what the international community has said about our elections so far?
Yeah. Okay. All right. It depends on how one has come to accept whatever each of those bodies are saying. But when you look at the election, it's exude a checkered feeling in the sense that you could actually be for or against what they have said. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about you could actually give kudos, praise INEC for doing an above par job. You understand what I'm saying? And at the same time, if you want to have their jugular, you're free. There are so many reasons to be on either side. But the thing is, if you look at the process. If you want to judge based on the process, you can actually say the election has not been that impressive. But when you look at the outcome, I think this is one of the most impressive elections in terms of outcome, in quote, you understand what I'm saying? That we've witnessed in a very long time. You get me? We have sitting governors losing, you understand what I'm saying? And what's it called? We have even, let's say, politically unknown people, you understand what I'm saying, winning elections, you understand what I'm saying? So, as a result of based on their competence and capacity, you get me. So I think this is a good takeaway from the election. But in terms of the process, yes, there are so many things to complain about. INEC has not actually lived up to the billions, to be honest with you, most especially with his ad hoc staff, in polling units and all of those stuff, because we've had situations where these people in connivance with political parties engage in voter suppression. You get me? So we have to, look at it from both sides to be able to have a full understanding of what the outcome is. But if you want to sum everything up, I think it's a fairly good election per se.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Toby John, for coming on the show. And that would be the end of the Diamond Breakfast Show for this morning. We hope that when we invite you subsequently, you're going to show up. Thank you so much, and have yourself an amazing day, sir.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
All right, stay tuned. It's still very much on Diamond 88.7 FM. Don't go anywhere.